highest rate of inflation. Electricity prices have gone up 43%. Rents have gone up 4.9%. Housing costs have gone up 7.4%. And insurance, as the Shadow Minister said last night, up 4%, which is double the national average. We have a cost of living crisis. And what is appropriate is if the LNP use the Appropriations Bill to deliver cost of living relief. That is absolutely essential. Now, Labor use these bills to deliver things like this, such as the $1,000 electricity rebate for households and the $300 rebate for small businesses. These are absolutely really important in delivering cost of living relief. There was genuine relief when we were explaining to people that you'll get $1,000 off your electricity bill. People absolutely loved it. They were relieved, and it really made a difference in their lives. And now we're getting, for example, to a point, we're at a point now, with those people in home parks especially, they'd built up this lovely big bank of electricity rebates. Now that is gone, and now all of a sudden they're having to pay electricity bills again. So they're really feeling the pinch of cost of living relief. But I do want to point out, this was genuine, heartfelt cost of living relief. Now, the member for Coomera said last night that this was a last-ditch attempt to buy votes. I think it just shows. I think it just shows the prism. It shows the prism of how they view this cost of living relief. That they only look at it in terms of what is to their political advantage. Can I emphasise this was what this did? It delivered genuine relief to those working and working class Queensland families who absolutely needed that relief, and when we delivered for them. One of the things that we know that the appropriations bills, in terms of the cost of living relief, it can deliver, and that's obviously the 50-cent fares, and we've heard a bit about that today. And I just want to point out there is one Mr 50 cents in this state, and that is the Leader of the Opposition. Everyone has always known that. I know that the LNP have jumped on the bagwagon about this, once again looking at the prism of what is the political advantage for that. But can I point out, when it was first brought out, they called it a con job and they called it unsustainable. That's how they labelled it when it first came through. Now under Labor, and one other bandwagon moment that we've seen is the $200 fair play vouchers. And that was a real cost of living relief measure delivered by Labor through budgets and through bills like this. It made an absolute difference. And the member for Morayfield, I know, was one of the people really pushing the expansion of that program. And I know that it has made a huge difference to relief to working families in our area as well. So the LNP could use these supplementary bills to deliver cost of living relief, but we're not going to see that. They will, for example, not use this to deliver any meaningful relief in the area of housing, in the provision of affordable housing. Instead, they'll stick to the cuts to what they've already doing, those large lots of public-owned land, say at Mango Hill, South Brisbane, Hamilton Foreshore. They've stripped those affordable housing provisions from that as well as the fast-track provisions, where a developer could get fast-track their development if they give that 15% over to affordable housing. And there was about 30,000 homes in projects that were affected by this. That is where we are. There's no meaningful measure to help the provision of affordable housing. There's only cuts. And I do want to make this point as well. Where in this bill are those measures that make rents cheaper? Where are the ones that provide more affordable housing? And what is in there to lower the price of electricity? And instead, what we're seeing at the moment, instead of measures to lower that price of electricity, we've got measures that actually kill off renewable energy projects. Renewable energy is the cheapest form of electricity in the market. What they're doing is this sets them off every time. Here they are cancelling wind farms, cancelling battery projects, cancelling public investment in these particular projects as well. It's probably the worst thing.
Order, members to my right.
The worst thing that they can do.
Member for Coomera is warned under standing orders. Member for Bancroft.
It's probably the most positive. The way that they can force up electricity prices is cancel these renewable energy prices there as well too. But one of the things I'd like to point out is that the LNP could use this bill, this appropriations bill, to further fund those crucial services in our areas, and especially my area as well. I take, for example, the Skilling Queenslanders for Work program. In my electorate, that delivered 2,159 jobs while Labor was in government. So over 2,000 jobs. That's 2,000 families whose lives were changed because they got the training and they got the jobs through this program. And what I'm hearing now is that those organisations, those community-based organisations in my area, are facing a cessation of that funding. Unity, for example, they've had 6 people working on those, delivering those programs. They're going to have to sack them all because they do not have any more funding. Their funding is facing the cliff for the Skilling Queenslanders for Work program. If you're talking about a rolled gold program that prevents youth crime, family breakdown, Skilling Queenslanders for Work has been the most successful one for that as well. But it's not only that program. I've heard from Ray's Redcliffe Area Youth Scheme. They learnt in the last couple of days that the funding for their Safe Space project is going to be coming to an end as well. Now, this is a mental health service. Works after hours. It's peer-led. It keeps people out of emergency department in the local hospital, and it does not only change lives; it saves lives. They're facing a cessation of funding, and this is during a week where we've had a suicide prevention breakfast here as well. But this bill can fund those community services, and they are needed more than ever. But instead, we have to look at an appropriations bill and look at what it is actually delivering, what the LNP is delivering with it, and what it is delivering. As we've heard the Shadow Treasurer said, it's delivering money for consultants. Now, the LNP have said they'll fund their election commitments through the savings that they're making by not going down that use of consultants path. But the point is that they're going to miss their cap. They had that $3 billion cap in the financial 25 year. They're going to miss that by $1 billion. Now, they need to find, I think it's $6.8 billion over 4 years in savings by not using consultants. They have not made a good start. They've already missed out on reaching their cap for this as well. So what they're doing is they're failing to find those savings that are going to fund their election commitments. Speaker, I won't speak too much longer on this as well. Oh, I've changed my mind. I was going to, but I've actually changed my mind again there. Can I point... it's...
Order. Members to my right. Order.
Speaker,
Member for Bancroft, you have 1 minute 52 remaining.
I know, and I'll try and use it all if I can. Speaker, I want to emphasise that the governments can use this supplementary appropriation bill to help out Queenslanders and Queensland families. More than ever, we need that cost of living relief for working class communities and working Queensland families. Can I emphasise again, under the LNP, what we are facing is that the inflation in this state under the LNP is now the second highest in the nation. Electricity prices, they've gone up 43% under the LNP. And we're facing a rent rise. Rents are going up 4.9%. We have a rental crisis. There is very little in this appropriation bill to help fix this out as well. Housing costs are going up.
Member for Currumbin, member for Bonnie. Member for Bancroft, you have the call.
Housing costs are going up 7.4%. And insurance, we've seen throughout northern Queensland, far north Queensland, their insurance costs are going up. They're going up 4%, which is double the national average. So what you're seeing here is a cost of living crisis unfolding here under the LNP. And certainly in the area of insurance, where the effects of climate change are becoming more and more apparent throughout Queensland, especially the north of Queensland, insurance is going up because of the effects of this particular crisis. And can I just emphasise again that the LNP really does need to view these bills as an opportunity to deliver cost of living relief to ordinary working Queenslanders. More than ever in this world, this is what they need. They need someone to back them, as Labor did with their $1,000 electricity rebate. This is the kind of initiative that we need to see in these bills.
Thank the member for
Mr. Acting
Bancroft.
Speaker.
I call the member for Maryborough.